guys are ready, we're ready, I think. I just wanted to let you know they weren't gonna be here.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying all by yourself.
Guess so.
Well, Jake's got a lame excuse, he's in Spain.
That's mine.
Should have approved that video call recording. I'll just wait 1 minute so I'm technically right on the time.
I know I got yelled at Board of Work, or Board of Zoning Appeals. They're like, "You gotta go," and I was like,
Yeah, we're off a click or two, aren't we?
It is 6 o'clock on November the 27th. Calling to order the Planning and Economic Development Committee. First item of discussion is the Race Street land transfer / alley vacation.
So, couple things on the Race Street. So we had previously done the property that used to be the coal plant, water plant, and the land between that was never actually surveyed and deeded. So we did all of that work. Now I'm coming back and all the platted areas we're wanting to switch over to the, tracks for that. So if you look on the alley vacation, which is the first one, there is an alley in between 8th and 9th Street that we'd be looking to vacate. I have talked to Greg a little bit about this. There are a lot of easements that are on this track. So they'll still have easement rights on here, but it would be all one legal. I thought that would make it a little bit easier. So we're looking to vacate that. And then in addition to that, it would be the land acquisition agreement with Redevelopment Commission, and there's actually two. So if you look at that map, you'll see the alley that we were talking about earlier, and then all the land between 8th and 9th Street. That'll go with track 1, that's actually to the north, so where the whole coal plant was. And then there is a city track that is actually right west of 10th Street, north of Brace, that would go with track 2. I don't know if he has it up there, but you can see it on the map that we turned it. Yeah, it's that one, yeah. So the far east one would go with track 2, which is actually the property to the north, and then the other ones would go with track 1. Again, they would follow all the easements that we currently already have on those track 1 and 2 deeds. So it's just transferring the rest of the plat property. Have any questions on that? No questions?
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Okay. You want to go to the next one, or?
Are we okay with moving that forward then?
Yes, if you guys are good with that. Any questions? Okay.
Move that forward to the December meeting then. What do you want to go over next?
Up to you.
Let's do the farmer's market.
Okay. So in 2022, Resolution 2022-101, the land of 4th Street and Market, what's kind of known as the Farmers Market lot, was given to the Redevelopment Commission with a kind of added stipulation of that a developer has to be chosen within 6 months. That was done. Since then, that developer has fallen out, and we have other people interested in that lot. And so we would like to amend that resolution to remove the 6-month transfer back to the city. One of the other reasons is that every time we would have to deed it, so we'd have to transfer it back to you and deed it, and then transfer it back to redevelopment anytime that we would want to look to do any projects on that lot. Any questions on that? So everything else on that resolution stay the same.
Anyone have any questions or any comments?
It looks like he's reading.
I was just trying to, we don't have the old ordinance in front of
No, I
us.
didn't put the old resolution.
Okay.
That was the only difference in that resolution, but I do have the number there, so if you want to research that resolution.
So Aaron, are you changing it so that there is no
Yeah.
6 months?
Right, that it
So you
stays
need-
with redevelopment commission.
Okay, so we really need to just do the resolution amending saying that you're
Right.
rewriting the entire resolution to remove that.
So you want a whole new resolution?
It'll be the same resolution, you just pull the 6 and we just put a whereas saying that we're amending it for that reason.
Okay, that's fine. I just
Because-
did it as an amendment
Yeah, that's-
resolution, so however you want to go about doing that.
Yeah,
that's-
it'd be just as simple, just to do the whole resolution and then just pull out the 6 months part of it, saying that the resolution, whatever number that was, will be
28.
amended to remove 6 months and will now be a permanently,
Is it okay if you?
I don't know, I mean, that's what you guys need to decide. I mean, that's what I would say, is if you're just gonna give it to them and let them work on it,
Right.
that it becomes.
That's basically what's being asked, is just keep it in the redevelopment because there are more interested people.
Right.
But the initial one that we selected within that 6-month period is no longer, so we need additional time to get a new person under LOI. So we can write it however you want it written. I just threw something together amending that, saying the 6 months.
Just make a quick comment to repeat what you've said, basically. It's actually easier if it's in the RDC ownership, because if there's going to be, it's in a TIF area, that the downtown is. If there's a developer and there's going to be an incentive or money asked, we'll be going to RDC for that money and not you guys. So with them having the ownership, it's just an easier transition if they own it and not bouncing back and forth, because ultimately they'll be the ones that would assist the funding, not you guys. Unless you want it, then I'll come ask you for the money.
And then we'll have to pay for a deed to go back, and then we'll have to pay for
Yeah.
a deed to go back, so on and so forth, so. And then, if you guys want me to work with Dwayne on making up a resolution, that's fine, I just threw something together saying amending that one, so.
Anyone have anything?
Nope.
You okay with moving this forward?
Yep.
We'll move this forward to the December council meeting as well.
Dwayne, if you wanna just get with me this week.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. I'll just rework the old one to take that out and make sure that you're in agreement with what it
Okay,
means. We'll
perfect.
just go that way, make it the amended.
Okay,
Last thing I have is the designated outdoor refreshment area, right?
yes.
Yep.
So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what it is and then what we've worked on, and then if you have any questions. So, this was adopted by the state this year. What it allows is people to go from establishment to establishment or from event to an establishment within a designated area, and they have to have a specific cup that actually says you're in the DORA area. And then, the businesses can either decide whether they allow them in, whether they want to sell DORA cups, or if they just don't want to be a part of it at all. This would basically provide an ordinance where we have kind of looked at a map. If you look on the third page of your packet, we did meet with business owners in the area that are currently doing a lot in downtown. And they did make some recommended changes to the map. They wanted to go down Erie Avenue to incorporate the avenue, so down to Elm basically on this map. And then also because they felt like people would take High Street to the new event center, to include High Street instead of just Ray Street for that connection over. So that if they walk from the event center into downtown or from the establishments downtown to the event center, they could do that. So there are stipulations for each designated, I'm going to say it wrong, permittee, and that would be basically an establishment in downtown. There's stipulations on what they can sell, how many ounces, and those type of things. Additionally, we can add in actual hours, and one of the things that was recommended by the committee of downtown businesses, I guess, or just discussing with them, is doing 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. During the whole week. So they didn't specify a time or a day, they just wanted to specify a time because they felt like that was appropriate for when they end their business and having a little extra time. I think, and then there are signs that will have to be posted at each establishment when people exit. Those signs are by state law. They are, any open alcohol beverage containers purchased within a refreshment area must remain in the refreshment area. And possessing any open container of alcohol beverages in a motor vehicle may constitute a Class C infraction under IC 9-30-15. And then Logansport downtown Dora is open, and then that would be where we put the hours. They weren't discussed until tonight. And then we would put a QR showing the map of the downtown area they could be in, which is provided in your packet as well. We're talking about providing stickers to be on cups that they currently have, so that there's not an extra purchase for them on actually processing cups for initially starting this. And this district can be expanded in the future if something were to be added that isn't currently in this district. And the city can have up to 7 designated areas. So this is just the one area we're looking at right now as kind of the pilot of seeing if this works in our community. I think there's another picture maybe in your packet of kind of the logo of that as well that could be a sticker. In addition, they will have to fill out a state form to submit, and then we, as the city, would approve that, and then it would go to the state after our ordinance would be adopted, and it's a little bit easier process. One of the great things about it is they don't have to have the fenced-in area, so people that only have a small area for people to use, or if they want to be in the parking lot and just close it down for a little bit for an event or something like that, they could do that without having to fence in an area. Trying to think if I'm missing anything else here. Although the state doesn't require it, we have talked about kind of boundary signs that would be placed on Market Street and Broadway, 3rd and 6th Street, Erie Avenue, just to say you're in that district or not. Even though there'll be QRs to be able to pull up that map. And we talked about kind of price range on that is, I got an estimate of $2,100 to do those signs, plus interior signs for restaurants that would want to be part of this. So that's kind of the major startup cost would be, and then from there on would just be the stickers.
How many businesses have said that they want to participate?
So the ones that were here tonight, all were interested. We do not have the sign off from them, but we know that we need at least one by Mondays, and we had a couple of them say, yep, I'll fill this out and bring it back to you. But we talked with, I've talked with Black Dog, she's interested. She wasn't here tonight though. Bonus Pints is interested, Science Project's interested, the Event Center's interested, La Fiesta, and Riverview are all interested in being part of this.
Is Science Project included in this area? I don't.
Yes, yes. It goes down the side. There's like an alley that runs just past.
It looks
my
like
house.
it's excluded.
It shouldn't be. It's so you see the library there, and then it goes to North Street.
Okay.
It cuts around Science Project.
So if I had a beer at Bonus Pints, I could walk out with it
Yep.
to the Science Project?
Correct.
Okay. And you said it's a limited amount of
You can
cup?
only carry 2, and then it says how much of each. So
So when you go up there, like, you have to say, okay, I want the special cup, or I mean,
Yes.
okay.
yeah, you have to have the special logo cup. So that's why we're saying stickers, so that they can still serve out of their regular cups and just put a sticker if you want to purchase that.
What other cities have done this?
Shelbyville has done it, but since it's pretty new, not very many have. They've just all been kind of working on designating it.
Lawrenceburg's done it too, I think.
Have they?
Yeah, because they did a presentation for State Board of Appeals.
Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty new for Indiana, but it's been done other places and been around for quite a long time.
Is this just a pilot program?
So yes and no. It's a pilot program until we stop it. So there's not an ending date, but to remove it, it's just ordinance removing it. So just because you started it doesn't mean it stays that way. So if council wants
Time limit
to.
or anything?
Huh?
There's no time limit or
No.
anything? Okay.
And then there's no cost to the business, I mean, do the businesses have to pay to turn in their application?
No, there's no cost to turn it
Just
in.
the cups would be there only?
Yeah, it would be the stickers would be their cost. We're hoping that up front we would pay for, the signage on the street to know that you're in the district, and then their exit sign, and then work with them from there. Because there's some additional things, like if you want to have a door cling, like we would have that available if they wanted to purchase, where they said, yes, we're part of it, but we don't want you to bring in your Dora cup. Like, so, we don't want you to bring it in from another establishment, but we sell it here. Like, they would have an opportunity to purchase that, but that's not gonna be just provided, those type of things.
Businesses are regulated, as to how much you can walk out with.
Yes, and it just meets the Indiana code. So I had one business that said, I don't wanna do mixed drinks, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable about doing that. And so they would only do beer and wine, and I said, that's your opportunity. So if there's a business that only wants to do beer and sell the beer as a Dora, they can decide on their own.
Even if they have a mixed drink?
Right, so if they say, I don't wanna be responsible for giving you a mixed drink and letting you leave, then that's their opportunity to say, no, I'm not gonna sell that to you in a Dora cup.
What does the police department say about this?
We've talked in a little bit about it. I don't know if Jacob has additional.
I mean, it's gonna have to be a discussion on the enforcement of it, but realistically, the downtown area is pretty good about their hours and the crowd that's down there, and so I don't foresee a lot of issues. And if they come up, they'll have to make sure that if somebody's walking down by 14th Street with an open container, that they know they can stop them, and it'll just be a little bit of education. But as long as it's spelled out how the enforcement works, Chief Guy never.
So even if, I'm pretty sure that even if they're disorderly and they have that cup, I mean, they still
Oh,
have
yeah.
the ability to arrest them. It's just that you're not in trouble by carrying that cup from one establishment to the next.
Stand on the borderline and toast a cop going by, but if I walk home, I could get busted for
Yeah.
PI. Okay. We'll see how it works.
Is there any kind of, does the public have to be notified and a waiting period on this, or is there anything like that involved
Not
in
that
it?
I saw.
I would at least advertise it.
No, I mean, we have to send the stuff into.
The state, and they have to approve it.
So it's whatever the lag and approval timeline of the state is really the only waiting period for us. And then the only other thing would be if it was going near a church.
Yes.
Then we had to notify them and get their sign off if it was within 200 feet of their walls. And we set up this to avoid having to do that with any churches at this point. Now, if it comes to the point where something happens that, we talked about boondockers someday, if something happens down there, or any of the other places like the, Pollard Nelson, or the Memorial Home or something, it could be extended, but we have to get permission from the church.
Can a business can you remove them from this if, for some reason?
If they're in that district, I don't think that they're removed. They have to
Or
get.
get the privileges revoked if they, I don't know.
I would assume that the state can
Uh-huh.
revoke it if they don't meet the standards of it, because it's a state. So they're still getting a license through this, basically approval through the state. That's what they have to fill out, so it could still be revoked if they're having issues with any of the stipulations under the DORA. So like if the state busts them for selling, more alcohol in the mixed drinks than allowed, they would be able to shut them down and not be able to be part of the program type of deal. Because it's still a license through the state. It's just us saying that you can walk through our sidewalk and streets to get to other establishments with it.
These addresses in Exhibit B, these are all addresses
we
contained
have-
within that zone, or?
We have to provide addresses, which should change a little bit since our meeting. It's addresses that are bordering the border line. So I just took all the addresses that are along the yellow. So that's what the state requires. They require a map showing the boundary, and then they require addresses of the boundary.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, why is King Street on here?
It might be a property owner versus property.
I'm just curious why they were on the list.
I'll have to double check that. But it's not the right list anyway. It's not the right list anyway, because the businesses made some amendments to the map anyway, so I'd have to redo that. Sometimes our system gives us the owner address versus the property address, so that might have been the case.
Looks like you got the whole street listed on there, is the only reason I was asking.
Okay.
And when you revised it, so you revised it to take in the avenue, you said, because on this
Yes.
map, it's not included.
It's not currently included, but the group that we met with asked us to include it since it's in such close walking distance.
Right, I was gonna say, it's just right around the corner from the boundary. So you're gonna include the avenue in that?
Yes.
And High Street.
And yeah, they said that they felt like people would more likely walk High Street than Race Street if they were getting from the event center
you're
to the
going-
event center
So you're going all the way,
to
Up to
11th
what,
Street.
11th
So High
Street?
Street to 11th Street, yeah.
okay.
So I'll make that revision to the maps and send them out. And I'll
So-
double check those addresses, I'm not sure.
So it's gonna run down the alley behind Black Dog all the way to High behind the laundromat,
Yes.
and then down High to 11.
We can, I mean, if, the board wants us to take it more to 7th Street, we could, there was a church there, so that's why we just cut down that alley. We tried to stay away from anywhere where they would be affected and have to be, bothered by it per state.
No, I just making sure I
clarifying.
understood. Yeah, it's all right with me. Okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I'll
Okay
make
with
that amendment to the map, and then I'll, look at the addresses, because, yeah, that's weird. And then, the only other thing is that I'll follow back up with the businesses to make sure we have them fill out that state form. The only other thing that I would just point out is, vendors, can, also apply. So for an event or a specific vendor, if, let's say, the farmer's market wanted to have wine tasting or something like that, they're in that district, they could have the wine tasting or wherever there would be, and then they would just apply, but it's a special event, so there's an additional application since we want to know hours of operation, how long it's going on, and those type of things. But that would be a local application.
Okay with moving this forward? Scott?
Anything to add?
Yes, thank you.
You got anything else for the committee?
Nope, that was it.
Jacob, you got anything?
I think that's it.
6:22, call the meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
At 6:22, I'll call the finance meeting to order. Just have a couple things on the agenda tonight. I think Dwayne's hooking us up with Andrew Wolf. He's going to give us a quick overview of proposed Phase 2A and B, and run us through the possibility of how we can apply to fund the next section. I sent you guys some information, kind of outlining the engineering estimate on that. And it's an 80/20 federal application. It goes through the state of Indiana. So as soon as Dwayne gets us ready here, I believe we can let him talk.
Should be online.
Yeah. Yep. If you want to give us a kind of a brief overview for the council here and the people in attendance, Andrew, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, council, for allowing me to come chat to you guys again. I'm not sure what all Dave kind of summarized for you, but we're looking to pursue a rural haul through NDOT. Our tail end is 80/20 construction we would go through a presentation to NDOT around January timeframe, as they narrow down projects. And then if we were to be successful in winning some of the grant money, it would be scheduled for fiscal year 2029, which means it could construct, it could go to letting anywhere between July 1st of 2028 to June 30th of 2029. When we did meet with NDOT, they said they were having some budgets kind of reshaping projects and budget shortfalls and overruns on different projects. So they did say there could be a chance that the project could come in sooner than that if we were ready to go to construction. So they were at least hinted at projects that were further along in design and more shovel ready. Could potentially go sooner. The lady had mentioned potentially 2027, but it all depends on how Providence, how Homeland fall out of their funding, and how bids come in at that point. So what we talked with Dave in the city about, the mayor's office about over the summer was to, we recommend to pursue this fall because you get 80 cents on the dollar, bite off a bigger chunk of the project, and kind of spread some of that money over the next few years. The other advantage is you're able to do a lot more infrastructure, decorative treatments, landscaping, lighting, some things we weren't able to roll in 100%, or excuse me, 50/50 or 80/20 anyway, with the CCMG. So you're able to do some of those decorative treatments at 80 cents on the dollar as well, which is a nice perk. And it seemed like a good opportunity for the city to continue to hear progress. What this is not committing to is what the final design is. Basically, we were just pursuing federal funding through NDOT to support construction and construction inspection. It does not lock in what the final design is. It does not lock in any of those things. It's basically, we're just looking for a letter of support from the city that you will support construction of a phase 2 Erie project. Does that kind of answer some of the questions, David, you're kind of hoping I can provide?
Yeah, now when you say a letter of support, would that be like a resolution from the council?
Good question. The specifics for the requirement is the LPA, Logansport, must submit a financial commitment letter on the city's letterhead signed by the fiduciary body of Logansport, containing the amount, source, and year of expenditure for the project match. So we've provided the amount and the year of expenditure. The support, or excuse me, the source would be obviously determined by you all, and just needs to be signed by the fiduciary body.
So if we gave you a letter that stated a year of expenditure and you're telling us this is actually for 2029, but they could do it as early as 27, how would you go about presenting that?
We are applying for 2029, so we will present it as 2029. I would say that if the city is eager to get it constructed sooner than that, then it has been said that it could potentially happen if, the dominoes fall into place and the money is available, if Logansport could commit to that in 2027. So I would say if the money is
Yeah, I think so. I think we could word it to possibly be either way.
I don't think you need to commit to that now. I would definitely say, well, I don't think, you definitely don't need to commit to that now.
Okay,
It's only something that would happen down the road if you want to, say, in 2026, they call and say, hey, can you do this? Then we can reevaluate, from the
okay,
standpoint
all right.
if it financially makes sense.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions for Andrew on this? This next phase would go from what, 8th to 12th Street, Andrew?
Yeah, we try to identify a good clean line. The other nice thing about this is depending on how the bids come in and budgets come in as we progress, the, the dividing line can kind of move. It's not as stringent as the CCNG. So we have programmed in, about 12th Street. So basically kind of doing 4 or 5 block chunks. And that would get us to 17th after one more phase after this. And really the goal was to hit a dollar amount, construction dollar amount, more so with a street amount, because that was the recommendation by NDOT.
Which is what I sent to you guys, if you looked at it there. Any questions for Andrew on this, or any concerns, or?
On the top photo, is that 8th and 9th Street? The intersections?
Can't read what the red is.
The field on the bottom of the first picture looks like the old Clausen number lot, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, if you look at the phase 2A.
I believe it is, Scott.
Exhibit that I sent today, and yeah, that's how we tie into the phase 1.
Yeah,
And the bottom picture in the middle, what intersection is that?
it's 10th Street,
10th?
Scott. Yeah, what it says.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures of 11th and 12th also?
It should be on the next PDF page.
Okay.
My screen can walk you through it if you'd like.
Okay.
The one on the left top is 12th Street
It's
there.
12th Street.
Yeah. The rest of it's on beyond that.
Is that where the,
Can you see my screen by any chance?
where does phase 2 stop, Andrew?
Phase 2 stops, right now we're showing it on the east side of 12th Street.
East side of 12th?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll clean up the tie-in, that makes sense. And if the funding, as we develop our cost estimates, as the design develops, if we get, more room in the budget to go further east, we will. It's kind of what I mentioned, that's what's nice about the rural call, the 80/20, is it's not as stringent as the CCMG, and we have some flexibility in adjusting things as the project progresses. The drawback is time.
Yeah. Any other, pardon? Yeah. You got any other questions for you, Scott?
Has he met with the group of citizens on Erie Avenue? Discussed their concerns?
They've had public meetings about it, but again, he said, if there's any concerns as we get ready, they'd be addressed. The actual design is not permanent. What he's proposed is not permanent.
Just a proposal?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good, thank you.
And I had an email thread open for about 2 months, received a lot of feedback, phone calls, we had some written feedback from our public meeting. The big concern was parking. We heard that one loud and clear, so we basically put back all the parking as one of the changes. The bump outs were a concern, and we've scaled a lot of those there's still some really good reason to include those, but that's not a hard and fast, it has to be, at this point. But there are still some really, really sound engineering reasons to have those. I think the biggest concern was the parking, lane widths were kind of brought up. And so we've addressed all of those, with the revised kind of concepts. And, you know, in my opinion, I feel like we've met a lot of the citizens' concerns. I did mention to, Dave and the mayor and, Haley as well, that part of the process going through the federal program, we'll have another public meeting. We committed to do the citizens for that. We want to have another public meeting, but it'll also be required as part of the federal process. So there'll be more opportunity for public engagement and public to see how the design progresses, and we'll be required to respond in writing to all comments, questions, concerns expressed during the design process. So it'll be a nice documentation process for the city, I believe, just to show that, you know, the comments were heard, they were addressed as best as possible. And that was one of the, going to the federal process, you're required to do that. There's a little bit of extra added costs. You know, there's construction inspection that you're required to do. We call it environmental, but it's not just trees and landscape. It's historical. It's involving citizens. It's a big process. Those are some extra strings that come along with the federal program. But it just goes to show that the city's doing its due diligence on these types of projects. So hopefully that kind of will ease some questions or some maybe hesitation or concern.
One of the questions I had for you, Andrew, is on the engineering estimate down there at the bottom where you put the P&E at $252,000. Now, is that funding that is that what we've already been paying for at this point?
So with these, one thing that's really nice about these next two phases is NDOT really looks favorably upon projects that have locally funded pieces of them. Since council
other questions?
One other question, Dave.
And, Scott's got another question, Andrew.
This was for Tony Shanks, Street Department Commissioner. Have you seen these specs? Yes. Okay. How do you feel about snow removal on these?
Well, we haven't done it yet because last year we didn't have surface down. I went to each business along there last year and said, we're not gonna come here, but I don't wanna damage the concrete before the surface is down.
Sure.
We haven't actually had the valve.
Okay.
So, get hold of me in February.
Do you foresee this as a nightmare or something that you guys can handle?
I don't think the guy at Desert Avenue is looking forward to it, but, you know, it remains to be seen.
Okay.
I can't give you an honest answer, we don't have it.
Okay. Would you need to buy, in your opinion, different equipment to get in through there? Think your dump trucks get in through there as a plow?
And there'll be a learning curve for our driver.
True. Okay. Thank you.
Jonathan, you got anything for him? Haley? Okay. Well, it sounds like you answered all their questions, Andrew. I guess what we're looking for tonight is to see if the council wants to move this. If we do, we have to have that commitment letter by the 1st of December. It can't wait for the next council meeting. So what we did is Dwayne wrote up a brief resolution that we would consider well, you should have all received it.
Yeah, for tonight.
Yeah, saying we would commit to 800,000, which would be, basically, we would commit to that over a 5-year period, be around $160,000. One of the thoughts we had when we talked about it is the sidewalk projects will be falling off. One of them ends this year, the other one ends next year, the funding for that. And those two together were about I believe around 130,000. I didn't bring the exact number. So we would just be committing a little bit more each year than we had been committing now to put money aside for this project, so that when the time came, we'd have the money ready. So is everybody good with moving that forward?
Yes.
Okay, Andrew, thank you very much for your time tonight.
And thanks, council.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right. So we'll move that forward. The other agenda item for tonight was the health insurance. We've crunched the health insurance numbers. I know that Marla's already got them out to all the departments to look at. In fact, when I spoke with her today, probably 75% of the people have already filled out their insurance forms. They're aware of the new premiums. They did go up quite a bit this year. But health insurance is health insurance. I don't know any better way to explain it. Mine went up at home just like everyone else's. But, you know, if anyone has any comments or any thoughts on it, I believe everyone's seen the information. Have you guys all received it at your departments? You guys have all had the numbers sent to you to look at. Is there any concerns or questions?
Are you able to go in with other cities or municipalities? It's like a bigger group.
Well, I don't know. The answer is I don't know, Bill. You know, my thought was that, you know, maybe we need to consider sitting down because LU uses the same people we use to do insurance, and I know their plan is quite different from what our plan is, and maybe it's time to sit down together and figure out a better way forward for both departments, the city and the utilities.
Bigger the better in insurance.
Pardon?
Bigger the better in insurance.
Yeah. But we,
School's part of a 30 school corporation trust. And we looked at, I think it's like a 2% increase this year. Because we have a large number.
I believe there is like a setup through the state, isn't there, Jacob?
They have the AIM Medical Trust, and it's something that we looked into a year and a half ago, but that one locked you in for.
I was gonna say, I think we had
however many
previously.
years, and it does spread the hurt out a little bit, but it didn't give us as much flexibility, because at that time, we were looking to, potentially work with the hospital on the things we were trying to do, and the medical trust would not have given us the flexibility to have that separate deal like we tried to do, but now that doesn't seem to be happening, it may be something to look into.
Yeah, and I know they had made that commitment to LU and weren't able to follow it up. So I guess, and now that I recall it, I think we looked into that when we got it stuck with that GPA that everyone just about hung us for, I think. It didn't go over well at all, but there was a lot of commitment up front, and you were locked in. So.
That's something that if you look into it, you need to start thinking about now for 2025.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The problem is
Several months of looking through
yeah.
comparisons and all that.
And we really need, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it's complicated enough. You just about need a consultant to sit down with you and advise you on how to maybe put a better package together for the employees, because I don't know the answer to health insurance, that's for sure. But anyone out there got anything they want to bring up on the health insurance premiums, or anyone up here got any questions?
I will say, it's gonna be a bigger bit. That increase is gonna be a bigger bit for civil city employees who didn't get quite the raise that public safety.
Well aware of it, yeah. And especially if you're, if you have the family policy, you're getting hit pretty good. Yeah, it's not. BJ, did you have something?
I think we need to also look into having our nurse practitioner there more than 3 days a week, because if you get sick, you don't make it in there in the morning, you got a good chance of not being seen for the next week or so.
And we actually looked into that last year, and the county wasn't willing to even consider it. So I don't know what the solution to that is. I know Marla spoke with them back and forth for quite a while about taking on at least another part-time nurse practitioner or something. And
The last 3 times I tried again, I just went up to the top and talked to Eastgate or like Martin's.
I know when they do all the wellness stuff, it's about impossible to get in there if you're sick when everyone's going through the wellness part. But Marla could probably give you a better explanation of why that didn't play out, but we tried last year to talk with the county about another nurse practitioner. So is everyone okay with moving these rates to the December 4th meeting? Jonathan? Okay. Dwayne, you want to talk about the grant fund?
Sure. The police department filed for a federal grant for their body cameras. They get those paid for, or get a large portion of them paid for. They received the grant and were able to get their body cameras taken care of. But we need to, that money has literally been sitting in a fund where it's not supposed to be, because we need to open a fund to move it to, and it would be Fund 299 or 2414 for the 4-digit number, and it would be the federal grant for body cameras. And literally, we would open it, make a payment, and close it, because the grant's done. So it's basically a bookkeeping issue just to keep the state happy with the federal grants that we've gotten. So, like I said, we'd open it, make the payment out of it, and then proceed to close it. And that's Fund 299, which is, we have no 299, so it should work just fine, especially with the closing it right away.
Okay to move it forward?
Yep.
think that's all there is for the Finance Committee. So I'll close the Finance Committee at 6:53.
Do what? Oh, I've only,
What to?
That's what I'm asking him about.
City Attorney, we
I
need
just,
your
I tried to
advice.
look it up and I couldn't find it, so that's what I was doing earlier.
Man,
Yeah, deputy mayor, could be your deputy mayor, or you take the mayor. I think just temporarily, vote on financial run the meetings tonight.
man, if you guys want, I'll do it. I'll get another chance, so.
There you go, Jonathan.
I'll appoint Jonathan.
I make a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Very
I'll take
cool.
the seat just so I don't.
Jake working tonight?
Did you,
He said he's in Spain.
He's in
did you
Spain.
print
He's in
off
Spain.
the?
Yeah, they're sitting over there on the, I'm sorry, I didn't give you guys, didn't set them out, but everybody was in here earlier.
Barcelona to the Kiss concert Saturday night.
We've got ours. Yeah.
No. Don't wish that title on me, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you sound right, please. Anything about it?
Oh,
It is 6:53 on November the 27th. I am Jonathan Nelms, Councilman Nelms, calling the special called session to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
David Ginsborn, absent. Larry Hood, absent. Jonathan Nelms,
Here.
Jake Ladon, absent. Scott Petey,
Present?
Haley Sinsmaster,
Present.
Dave Morris.
present.
Moving on to new business, Resolution 2023-147, Councilman Morris.
Resolution 2023-147, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving the application and funding of a rural federal aid project through the Indiana Department of Transportation for work on Erie Avenue. Make a motion to move this forward for a vote.
Second?
Any discussion?
I guess I'd just say, since Andrew was pretty specific about what it needed to say, we might possibly want to put a couple funds in there on Section 2. You know, the thought would be just to use general fund money for the next 5 years on that, but we could name several funds just to cover ourselves. We could put the general fund in there, we could put the infrastructure fund in there, but basically we'd have to have $160,000 each year starting in 2024 if we're approved for the grant.
Split those two funds each year if we need to?
Yeah, as long as you cite funds, you could budget it any way you wanted each year.
Is it vote to amend that, or?
Yeah, you gotta have a motion to amend.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Comment or discussion? Call for question on the amendment.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
Jonathan Elms.
Yes. Do we need a new motion on the amended version, or?
Yes.
Do you have a motion on the amended version of the resolution?
I make a motion.
Second.
Any comment? All right, call for question.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Jonathan Elms,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-147 is passed. Are there any public comments? Any council member comments? Hearing none. Miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered, including ADA Section 504 compliance or concerns. Hearing none, I would hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Call for question.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Jonathan Elms,
Yes.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you.
Well done.
Did you see the word transportation? The word transportation?
Oh,
Okay.
that was me putting it together.
No, I'm sure. I just,
Yeah.
go to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I can say I did at least once.
Good job, buddy.
Well, what's up, young feller?
I'll have
Yeah.
to fix it anyway, Haley, because of the Wiki amendment.
Oh.
Just gotta retype it or
Yeah.
reword it. To be inclusive.